Um, so hecarim is a bit of an interesting topic recently, especially because of his insane pick rate in pretty much everything right now. I still don't think he's broken per se. I mean, I think Diana is way worse, and even like Rek'Sai way worse. Uh, so I don't think he's broken, and I'm really sad to hear that Riot are nerfing him because he is one of the most fun junglers I have ever played, if not the most fun jungler I've ever played. Not because of his insane mechanics, just because of how fun and rewarding it is to run at people like Mach 9. So I thought of reworking him a bit. It is more of a mini rework. Actually, more like mini changes for hecarim than actual rework. Because I'm not going to be changing any of his core mechanics, really. And to me, there are two possibilities. One is that Riot want to keep the bruiser aspect of him, or juggernaut aspect, of running at people, trying to kill people as fast as he can before dying. Or the other is a tank, which has become recently, I think, ever since season 11, people have realized that his damage is just not good enough, and building tank is just far superior. Actually, I don't even think it's the damage fault. I think it kind of is, but to me, I'd much prefer if I'd kept the tanky recent hecarim, because that's really where I started going into hecarim. Before I was kind of, it's okay, but I really started like playing hecarim because of the tank builds. Um, yeah, I played a plethora of tank builds every time like a new tank item was viable. One of the first champions I checked it on was like hecarim. Because I just really love tank hecarim. I think it is so much more fun. The big problem is if you want to play like a bruiser, more hit and run champion, then it's really weird because obviously he wants to run fast into the game, bursting champions down. But then he has a lot of sustain in his kit. Both his Q and W are sustained abilities, while the rest of his kit is more hit and run style, which is weird. If they want to keep the hit and run style, then what they really need to do is remove the stacking part from Q and make it 3 seconds base cooldown. Right now it's I think 4. Go up down to 2. I think just keeping it like 3 or even 2 would be massive changes. And obviously to compensate, the stacking damage part is removed, and instead a lot of the damage of that stacking is added to the Q baseline. Now, this was make him incredibly overpowered in the earlier, which I am aware of. So I do think that it needs to be a bit more later that he gets this. So maybe it starts with like the 3 second cooldown, but then gets reduced to 2 second cooldown with the levels, and also increases the scaling. There are not a lot of abilities that increases the actual scaling based on like the ranks in them, but I definitely think that that's something that the queue should have. Especially because Hecarim gets a lot of AD just for existing, which is another thing I want to maybe remove. I think the passive, though a lot of fun, is a bit weird in the way it works. So what I'm offering is a stacking mechanic. Imagine Dead Man's Plate, but endless stacks. But instead of like the stacks getting increased based on how much you run. So let's say it's 1 to 100, just like normal Dead Man's Plate. But each damage that it provides on the auto attack works exactly like Dead Man's Plate. So the next auto attack deals the bonus damage. But the damage scales off his current movement speed. So it's the same idea, the hit and run style, but instead of focusing on having a lot of AD to provide for his abilities, it's more of a quick burst of damage. Um, and the W should scale, the damage should scale with AD. I always thought it was stupid that it scales with AP. I think it should scale also with AD. And I think that's it for the bruiser changes. So, to sum it up, he's losing a lot of agency from his passive and Q. So instead of it stacking, it now provides immediate burstiness. So you want to go for a bit more of a quick hit and run style, less of waiting in the game, trying to dodge around, move around in the team fight, which I do think is a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite part of hecarim. Go in, get some damage, move out, then go back in. It's a bit of an interesting idea, but I think if they want to keep the bruiser aspect, then that part should be removed. Now for the tank, if they want to keep the tank aspect of him, not really a tank, more like a hybrid juggernaut style, then it's the same idea of the passive, but instead of having scaling so instead of dealing like a lot of damage, it still deals the damage, but less damage, and also provides an AoE slow or something like this, or maybe causes a champion the passive could give him like some kind of like be the similar passive to what it is right now. But instead of AD gives him health or damage reduction or something like this. So give him some kind of utility on the passive instead of damage on the passive. Now for the Q, I wanted to scale with, first of all I wanted to scale with AP and AD, so still the same scaling, just also have like AP scaling in the mix of it. And once again, remove the stacking part, the damage stacking part. The cooldown could still exist, but the damage part removed. Instead of it, the stacking. Actually, no. Okay, so the Q reduces damage for enemy champions who get hit by it, like, or maybe reduces their armor by a flat amount. Either one of the two, could work. And it stacks up to like 2 or 3 times. Maybe also reduces the cooldown. So still, like, have that sustained part. W, I think the just increase back to 30% from allies. Right now it's 15% now. I think it should be once again back to 30, if not even more. Like, both parts are increased to like 50, which is insane. But because a lot of his damage is getting removed from the passive and Q, then that could work. And E and ult I think works the same. If any of these ends up being too overpowered, then very simple fix is increase the ultimate cooldown. Having higher ultimate cooldown will pretty much immediately make hecarim worse in every single way, or increase his W cooldown. Really, all of these could really like reduce hecarim's utility, and I do not think Ratchet reduces damage. I really think that when it comes to the damage aspect of hecarim, if you're going for the bruiser, it should be increased. If you're going for the tank, then it should just remain the same without the stacking. I really don't think like that you want to hit his damage, because what happens is every time Riot nerfs hecarim's damage, especially early game, and says, oh, now we have more scaling. Well, it doesn't matter, because you're gonna need like 3 items to hit the same scaling level. And it's bad. It's really bad. Telling hecarim you have to like get 2 items to be viable, especially when he wants to snowball the game early on so much, just forces him to build more tank. Riot are not doing him any favor by giving him damage, by reducing his damage, because they're just forcing him to build tank. If they don't want him to build tank, then reducing his damage is not the way to do it. Every time they have done this, it has made him more of a tank, less viable, like to build damage items. As you see, this game, I don't think I built. I was going for the Muramana, but this is actually the first time I've tried Muramana, and I wasn't able to complete it because I just snowballed the early game so much. And my other game, I don't build it either. I go pretty much tank. What I usually like to go is not Sunfire, Turbo into Deadman's, get that flat damage. So, as I say, I don't think Riot wants to reduce his damage. Whatever they haven't planned for hecarim, reducing his damage is not the way to go, and I really hope that that's not what they're going to do. So that's it for this pretty quick video. I'll edit it down so you're not seeing me just farm, even though I've done very little farming this game. But I'll edit so it's mostly team fighting and exciting stuff, hopefully. But yeah, that's it for the video for now.